She slurred, "Why settle for you when Dex knows how to please a woman?" Like she wanted to break me, I said, "You're right." Just realized what she'd confessed and walked out into the cold. Days later, at their engagement party, someone else heard. My 27M drunk girlfriend, 24F, just told me my best friend is better in bed than me. I can't stop shaking. I'm writing this because I've been staring at my ceiling for 3 hours and my hands won't stop trembling. I had to get up and smoke 2 cigarettes on my fire escape just to calm down enough to type this. I don't know what to do. I've been with my girlfriend Briar for about 2.5 years. We live together in my 1-bedroom apartment. I work as an inventory clerk at a hardware warehouse. Not exactly prestigious, but it's honest work, and the pay covers our bills. Briar is a veterinary technician, and over the past few months, she's been increasingly critical of what she calls my limited prospects. She compares me to skilled tradesmen and professionals she meets at the clinic, always making me feel like I'm not measuring up to some standard I don't understand. My best friend Dex has been in my life since we were 12 years old. We went through middle school together, high school, everything. He's an electrician now, makes good money, drives a nice truck. About 6 months ago, he got engaged to his girlfriend Ren, who's an elementary school teacher. Ren is honestly one of the sweetest people I've ever met. Always asks about my day, remembers little things I mention, treats me like the brother she never had. Their wedding is planned for 4 months from now, and Dex asked me to be his best man. I was honored. Here's where tonight went to hell. Briar went out for what she called girls' night around 7 p.m. She's been doing these more often lately, maybe twice a week for the past 3 months. Always comes home late, always slightly drunk, always in a weird mood. Tonight she came back around 1:15 a.m. absolutely wasted, stumbling through the door like she could barely walk. I was up watching TV, waiting for her like I always do because I worry when she's out that late. She looked at me sitting on the couch and immediately started getting hostile about something. I'm still not sure what triggered it. We got into this argument about our relationship, about my lack of ambition, about how I never take her anywhere nice because I can't afford the restaurant she wants to go to. I was trying to stay calm, trying to de-escalate, when she got this look in her eyes. This cruel look I'd never seen before. She walked over to where I was sitting, leaned down close to my face, and whispered, "Your best friend is better in bed than you'll ever be. Maybe you should find someone in your own league instead of wasting my time." I felt like someone had just punched me in the stomach. I couldn't breathe for a second, but she wasn't done. At least Dex knows how to treat a woman right. At least he knows what success looks like. Then she just stumbled into the bedroom and passed out. I've been sitting in this living room for 3 hours now, replaying those words over and over. At first I thought maybe she was just being drunk and trying to hurt me, saying the cruelest thing she could think of. But the more I think about it, she said is better in bed, not would be, or probably is, but is, like she has first-hand knowledge. And now that I think about it, things are starting to make a horrible kind of sense. Her girls' nights started about 3 months ago, and they always seem to happen on nights when Dex tells me he's working overtime on big electrical projects. The timing is too perfect to be coincidence. Briar's been distant with me for months, critical and cold, but whenever Dex's name comes up in conversation, her whole demeanor changes. She always has something positive to say about him, always mentions how hard-working and successful he is. I keep thinking about last week when the 3 of us were hanging out at a bar. Dex went to the bathroom and Briar immediately started talking about how some people just have that drive to succeed, while looking at me like I was a disappointment. When Dex came back, she was suddenly animated and flirty in a way she hasn't been with me in months. I'm sitting here chain-smoking on my fire escape, trying to convince myself I'm overreacting. But I can't shake this sick feeling in my stomach. If this is true, it's not just that my girlfriend is cheating on me. It's that my best friend since we were kids is betraying me while planning to marry someone else. Ren. Jesus Christ, Ren. She's been excitedly planning their wedding for months, showing me pictures of dresses, asking my opinion on flowers, talking about how she's never been happier, and feels like the luckiest woman alive. She trusts Dex completely. She trusts me completely. Always hugs me hello, calls me her future brother-in-law. Talks about how grateful she is that Dex has such a loyal best friend. If this is real, If they're really having an affair, then I'm watching an innocent woman plan her wedding to someone who's actively betraying her. And my best friend, is looking me in the eye every week, talking about bachelor party plans and honeymoon destinations while sleeping with my girlfriend. I feel nauseous. I keep taking deep breaths, but my chest feels tight. I don't know what to do with this information. Part of me wants to storm into the bedroom right now and shake Briar awake, demand she explain what she meant. But another part of me is terrified of what I might find out. Should I confront her when she sobers up tomorrow? Should I talk to Dex? I can't stop thinking about Ren, about how devastating this would be for her. She doesn't deserve to find out on her wedding day that her husband has been cheating on her. But what if I'm wrong? What if I'm reading too much into drunk rambling and I blow up everyone's lives over nothing? I need advice. I've never felt this lost in my life. Update 1. I haven't been sleeping much. Maybe 3-4 hours a night for the past week and a half. I keep waking up around 2 a.m. with this sick feeling in my stomach, then lying there until dawn running through everything in my head. Saturday morning after that horrible night, Briar woke up around 11 a.m. like nothing happened. She had no memory of what she'd said, or at least she acted like she didn't. Asked me why I looked so tired, and if I was feeling okay. The casual concern in her voice made me want to throw up. I couldn't bring myself to confront her immediately. Instead, I've spent the past 10 days quietly investigating, trying to piece together what's really been happening. It's like being a detective in my own life, and what I've found is destroying me. The first thing I did was map out the timeline. I went through my texts with Dex, cross-referenced them with Briar's girls' nights, and the pattern is undeniable. Every single Thursday for the past 3 months when Briar claimed to be out with friends, Dex told me he was working late on some big electrical project. The consistency is too perfect to be coincidence. I've been smoking about a pack a day trying to calm my nerves. Had to take 2 sick days from work because I couldn't concentrate, kept making mistakes with inventory counts, nearly dropped a whole pallet of screws because my hands were shaking. The breakthrough came from my coworker Jace Morrison. We were eating lunch in his truck Tuesday when he casually mentioned something that made my blood run cold. He said he'd been seeing Dex's work van parked outside the apartment complex where Briar's friend Maya lives, multiple Thursday evenings over the past month. Same spot, same time. I had to excuse myself and go throw up in the warehouse bathroom. That night, I called Maya directly, told her I was planning something special for Briar and wanted to make sure she'd be available next Thursday. Maya sounded confused and said she'd been out of town for work training the past 6 weeks, staying in hotel rooms Sunday through Friday. Briar has been lying to me for weeks about where she spends Thursday nights. I confronted her about it Friday evening, casually mentioned that Maya had called me a lie, and Briar immediately got defensive. Started backtracking about maybe staying at a different friend's place, and how she gets confused about which nights she stays where. The way she scrambled to adjust her story told me everything I needed to know. Sunday dinner with Dex and Ren was torture. We do this every few weeks. It's tradition, something we've done since Dex and Ren got together, but sitting at their kitchen table, watching Ren excitedly show me wedding invitation samples while knowing what I know. Ren is so happy. She kept talking about how lucky she feels, how Dex is the most honest man she's ever met. She showed me their honeymoon itinerary, asked my opinion on centerpieces, mentioned how grateful she is that Dex has such a loyal best friend in me. I wanted to scream. Dex seemed off during dinner, distracted, checking his phone constantly, giving short answers to Ren's questions about wedding planning. When she brought up some mysterious credit card charges, he got snappy and said they were for bachelor party stuff, but we haven't even started planning that yet. I should know. I'm supposed to be organizing it. The final piece came from Sage Drummond, who works with Briar at the veterinary clinic. I've met Sage a few times at work events, and she seems like good people. She pulled me aside at a coffee shop Saturday morning and said she'd been feeling uncomfortable about something for weeks. Apparently, Briar has been receiving personal calls at work, always stepping outside or into empty exam rooms to take them. She tells her colleagues it's family drama, but Sage noticed Briar always refers to the caller as D when talking to other staff about the calls. D for Dex. Sage said Briar's whole demeanor changes when she gets these calls. She becomes giggly and flirty, in a way that doesn't match someone dealing with family problems. I've been chain smoking on my fire escape every night since that conversation, staring at the city lights and trying to process the magnitude of this betrayal. It's not just that my girlfriend is cheating on me. It's that my best friend since we were 12 years old is actively betraying me while looking me in the eye every week, while planning to marry an innocent woman who trusts him completely. The worst part is watching Ren. She calls me her future brother-in-law, hugs me every time she sees me, asks about my life like she genuinely cares. She's planning her wedding to someone who's been systematically lying to her for months, and I'm sitting here with knowledge that could prevent her from making the biggest mistake of her life. I haven't been eating much. Lost about 8 pounds this past week. Keep making coffee and forgetting to drink it. My boss asked if I was feeling okay because I look run down. I need more concrete evidence before I do anything. But every day I wait feels like another day I'm complicit in Ren being deceived. Update 2. It's been 3 weeks since my last update and I feel like I've aged 3 years. I've barely been functioning as a human being. My supervisor at work pulled me aside yesterday to ask if I was having personal problems because my performance has been so bad. I wanted to laugh. Personal problems doesn't even begin to cover it. The past few weeks have been me slowly gathering concrete evidence while pretending everything is normal. It's like living in some twisted alternate reality where I have to smile and make small talk, while my entire world crumbles around me. Last Tuesday, I decided to test Briar directly. Casually mentioned during dinner that Dex seemed to be working a lot of overtime lately. Her reaction was immediate and telling. She got defensive instantly, snapping, "He's ambitious, unlike some people. You could learn from him about actually trying to improve your situation." The venom in her voice when she said, "unlike some people," made me want to curl up and die. But it also confirmed what I already knew. She's comparing us constantly, and I'm losing. When I pressed for details about what made him so much more ambitious than me, she clammed up completely, started clearing dishes aggressively, slamming cabinet doors. The guilt was written all over her face. Wednesday night, I did something I never thought I'd do. I followed her. She left around 7 p.m. for another girls' night, but instead of heading toward downtown where her friends usually go, she drove straight to Dex's apartment complex. I watched from my car as she parked and walked to his building like she'd done it 100 times before. I sat there for 2 hours, smoking cigarette after cigarette, watching the light in his third-floor window, knowing what was happening up there. Around 9:30 I called Ren. "Hey, just wondering if you wanted to grab coffee tomorrow," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "Oh, I'd love to, but I'm visiting my sister Vale overnight," Ren said. "Won't be back until Thursday evening." Dex claimed he had some emergency electrical job tonight, so the timing worked out perfectly. Emergency job. Right. Thursday morning, I was a zombie at work. Jace Morrison found me sitting in the break room staring at an untouched cup of coffee that had gone cold hours ago. "Dude, you look like hell," he said. "What's going on?" I couldn't tell him everything, but he's been a good friend, so I said I was having relationship problems. That's when he mentioned something that nearly broke me completely. "Speaking of relationships," Jace said, "I saw the weirdest thing last week. Remember I told you about seeing Dex's van in that apartment complex? Well, last Tuesday, I saw him and your girlfriend together at that Italian place across town. Thought it was just a weird coincidence, but they were, holding hands and shit. Looked pretty intimate for friends. The final confirmation came from our mutual friend, Crew Blackwood. We ran into each other at the gas station Thursday evening, and he mentioned seeing Dex and Briar together about 2 weeks ago. Weird that they were hanging out without you," Crew said. "They seemed really close, actually. Like, closer than I'd expect for friends, Lots of touching, leaning into each other. Are they helping plan something for you, or?" I just mumbled something about birthday planning and got out of there as fast as I could. That night, I sat on my fire escape until 3 a.m., chain smoking and staring at the empty street below. The pieces all fit together now. The timeline, the lies, the way they act around each other, the cruel comparison Briar made that night when she was drunk. It's all true. My best friend since we were 12 years old is having an affair with my girlfriend while planning to marry an innocent woman who worships the ground he walks on. But here's what's eating me alive. Dex and Ren's engagement party is this Saturday. 2 days away. Ren has been planning it for weeks. She calls me every few days to ask about details. Should she put me at the head table? Does Dex have any allergies I should tell the caterer about? Would I mind giving a short speech about their friendship? She trusts me completely. She sees me as family already. And I'm sitting here with knowledge that could destroy her world. I keep going back and forth. Part of me wants to tell her immediately, before she has to smile and celebrate her engagement in front of everyone while her fiancé and my girlfriend laugh behind her back. But another part of me thinks about how public and humiliating it would be to find out at her own party. I haven't been sleeping at all. Just lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, running through different scenarios. Tell her before the party? Pull her aside during the party? Wait until after? Never tell her at all and let her marry a cheater? Every option feels wrong. Briar keeps asking why I seem distant and moody lately. Yesterday she said I was bringing down the energy in our relationship, and maybe I should talk to someone about my negative attitude. The irony of her lecturing me about my attitude while she's screwing my best friend is almost funny. Almost. Saturday is going to be hell, one way or another. Final update. I haven't slept in 72 hours. Every time I close my eyes, I see Ren's face from Saturday night. I keep replaying those moments over and over, wondering if I could have handled it differently, wondering if I'm a monster for what I did. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Saturday morning, I woke up on my couch around 6 a.m. after maybe an hour of sleep. I stared at the engagement party invitation on my coffee table. The invitation Ren had hand-delivered to me 2 weeks earlier. So excited she was practically glowing. The party was at the community center starting at 7 p.m. I showed up alone around 7:30, telling people that Briar felt sick and couldn't make it. The irony of that lie, saying she was sick when she was probably getting ready to show up later looking beautiful for her lover, made me want to punch something. Ren looked radiant. She was wearing this flowing blue dress, her hair done up, beaming at everyone who walked through the door. She hugged me when I arrived and whispered, "I'm so glad you're here. It wouldn't be the same without my future brother-in-law." I nearly broke down right there. The first hour was torture. I stood around making small talk, watching Ren give this heartfelt speech about finding her soulmate, and how Dex was the most honest, loyal man she'd ever met. She talked about their future kids, their dream house, how grateful she was to be marrying her best friend. The whole room was full of love and joy and celebration, and I was standing there with information that would destroy all of it. Dex looked nervous the entire evening, constantly checking his phone, giving short responses when people congratulated him, sweating despite the air conditioning. I watched him excuse himself to the bathroom 3 times in the first hour, probably texting with Briar. Around 8:45, I was outside smoking my 6th cigarette when Briar arrived. She'd supposedly been too sick to attend, but there she was, dressed up and looking perfectly healthy. She spotted me immediately and gave me this little wave, like we were casual friends instead of whatever we were. That's when I knew I had to act. I waited until 9:15, then approached Ren during a quiet moment. She was looking through a photo album someone had brought, smiling at pictures of her and Dex from their early dating days. "Ren, can I talk to you privately for a minute? There's something urgent you need to see." Her face immediately shifted to concern. "Is everything okay? You look pale." We stepped into a small side room that the community center uses for storage. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold my phone steady as I pulled up the screenshots I'd saved from Briar's phone that night she was drunk, texts clearly referencing her relationship with D, and specific details that could only come from an intimate affair. "Ren, I'm so sorry to have to show you this, but Dex has been having an affair with Briar for months." The color drained from her face immediately. She stared at the screenshots for a long time, reading them over and over. "This could be anyone," she said weakly. "Maybe it's work drama, or..." That's when I pointed through the doorway toward the main room, where Briar had just arrived and was scanning the crowd nervously. "Briar told me she was too sick to come tonight," I said. "But there she is, perfectly healthy, looking for someone." We watched as Briar's eyes found Dex across the room. The look they shared, guilty, intimate, nervous, said everything. Ren's breathing started getting shallow. "No," she whispered. "No, This isn't. He wouldn't. I showed her more evidence. The timeline I'd mapped out. The witness accounts from Jace and crew. The coordinated lies about overtime and girls' nights. Your sister Vale mentioned you've noticed him acting strange lately, I said gently. The phone calls, the credit card charges, the distance. Ren was quiet for about 5 minutes, just staring at the evidence, occasionally looking out at Dex and Briar through the doorway. I could see her world reshaping itself in real time, all the pieces clicking into place. Finally, she looked up at me with tears in her eyes. How long have you known? I suspected for about a month. I only got proof this week. Why didn't you tell me sooner? I wanted to be sure, and I didn't know how to destroy your happiness. She was silent for another minute, then straightened up with this expression I'd never seen on her face before, cold and determined. I need to do this now, before I lose my nerve. We walked back into the main room together. Ren made a beeline straight to Dex, who was standing near the gift table looking increasingly anxious. The room was packed, probably 60 people, all their friends and family, everyone celebrating their love. Ren walked up to Dex, and in a voice loud enough for nearby guests to hear, said, "Cade just showed me some very interesting information. Are you sleeping with Briar?" The effect was immediate. Conversation stopped. People turned to stare. The festive background music suddenly seemed obscenely loud. Dex went white, then red, then white again. What? Ren? That's crazy. Why would you even— Look me in the eye, Ren said, her voice getting louder, and tell me you haven't been cheating on me with Briar for the past 3 months. At that exact moment, Briar appeared at the edge of the crowd, drawn by the commotion. When she saw what was happening, her face went ashen and she started backing toward the door. But it was too late. Her expression gave away everything. Dex tried to maintain the denial for maybe 30 seconds, but with everyone staring and Briar clearly panicking, he just crumbled. "It wasn't supposed to happen," he whispered. The room erupted. Ren let out this sound, not quite a scream, more like a wounded animal. She pulled off her engagement ring and threw it at Dex's chest. "Get away from me," she said, backing toward her sister Vale, who had immediately rushed to her side. "Get away from me and never contact me again." Vale started shouting at Dex, calling him every name in the book. Other guests joined in. Someone yelled, "How could you do this to her?" Another person called Dex and Briar disgusting. Briar tried to approach me, crying, saying she could explain everything, and that I had ruined her life. I just walked away. I couldn't even look at her. The party disbanded within 15 minutes. People were grabbing their coats and leaving while Dex stood there trying to explain himself to anyone who would listen. Most people just ignored him. I stayed long enough to make sure Ren was okay. Vale and several other family members surrounded her, creating a protective barrier between her and Dex. As I was leaving, Ren caught my eye and mouthed, "Thank you." That was 5 weeks ago. The aftermath has been extensive. The wedding, obviously, is cancelled. Ren moved in with Vale immediately and has been staying there since. Through mutual friends, I heard she's taking a leave of absence from teaching to process everything. Dex tried to contact me multiple times in the first week, wanting to explain his side. I blocked his number after the 3rd voicemail. There's nothing he could say that would make this okay. Briar moved out of my apartment 2 days after the party. She left a long letter claiming she never meant for things to go this far, and that she was planning to end it after the wedding. The selfishness of that statement, that she was going to let Ren marry a cheater and then continue the affair, still makes me sick. I found out through crew that the affair wasn't even exclusive. Dex had been seeing at least one other woman from his work, using the same overtime projects excuse. Briar wasn't his special connection. She was just another side piece in his web of lies. The social fallout has been swift. Most of our friend group has cut contact with both Dex and Briar. Crew told me that people were disgusted by what happened at the party, not because I exposed it, but because of what they were doing to Ren. 3 weeks ago, I got a text from Ren. "I know this has been hard for you too. Thank you for saving me from the biggest mistake of my life. You're a good man, Cade." I cried for an hour after reading that. I've been going to therapy twice a week since this all happened. Losing your girlfriend and your best friend simultaneously while watching an innocent person get devastated, it does things to your mind. I wasn't sleeping, wasn't eating, couldn't concentrate on anything. My therapist says I did the right thing, that Ren had a right to know before making a lifetime commitment. But some nights I still lie awake wondering if there was a better way to handle it, a way that wouldn't have caused such public humiliation. Then I remember Ren's face when she was talking about their future kids, about how lucky she felt, about how honest and loyal Dex was. And I know that letting her marry him would have been crueler than anything I did at that party.